Hello and welcome back to Analyzing the Magnus Protocol. My name is Jack and today we are going to be covering Mag Protocol episode 32, Restructuring. And as always, please go check out the links in the description for this episode or wherever you like to listen to podcasts, and consider leaving a like and possibly subscribing if you're enjoying these analyzing videos weekly, and more stuff to come in between these protocol episodes, I hope. And with that out of the way, I guess we shall dive into Mag Protocol episode 32, Restructuring. This episode came out on March 6th, as of the day I'm recording it, and it is written by Alexander J. Newell, with editing by Jonathan Sims. We begin in the OIAR office, with Alice typing away at her computer, actually focused for once, it seems, and Gwen trying to get her attention. Alice with headphones in, obviously not paying attention to anything at all. This is when Gwen decides to poke her in the back of the head after saying Alice a few times, which ends up scaring her, and then the two have a little fight about Alice basically saying that with everything that's going on, you think it would be a good idea to sneak up on me, with Alice also saying that she's lucky she didn't deck her, and Gwen retorting with, lucky I haven't fired you yet. Basically with Gwen asking Alice, what exactly are you doing? Alice basically just saying she's using the OAR resources to try and see if Sam had turned up in any missing cases report, or any hospital rambling about eyes, or with amnesia, or anything like that. And she's basically finding nothing thus far, with Gwen saying that her caseload is being worked up. Alice couldn't really give less of a shit about the caseload, with Gwen basically saying that she can't really just abandon her work. Alice saying that, since it's basically just the three of them, of Alice, Gwen, and Celia, that, she could just fire her, but then that the caseload then falls on the rest of them, and then Gwen has to find some new hire. So Gwen basically saying that, if she's not on top of the caseload, then things are bound to get worse or draw attention from the higher-ups. Alice then saying, from who? The Right Honorable Mr. Sir Trevor Herbert, MP, OBE, DNR? I doubt he would notice if we burnt the place down. And then Gwen basically retorting with, if they're going to spend any time looking for Sam, then they might as well do it with the government resources that they have available to them, so it's best to probably stay on the caseload. And then one of my favorite interactions, Alice says that, I liked you better when you were a miserable grunt like the rest of us. Gwen saying, no, you didn't. This is when Chester pipes in, and we hear a report about a patient record, the Liverpool Integrated Care System, patient record ID NICS 2015-3658-4B. And basically this starts listing a whole bunch of personal information about someone named Kayla Barber, and we get a bunch of other information about her being born on 1974 on November 17th, an address of Gardner Lane in Liverpool, on occupation of environmental health officer. Also, an emergency contact Violet Weaver. And then we also get various other information about a primary health care provider, a Dr. McKay Volkova of Sycamore Drive Medical Center, healthcare provider Dr. Alan Celio, Mercy Care NHS Trust, chronic conditions with hypertension and type 2 diabetes. We also get to know that she recent admissions in 2012 of June 1st, an acute depressive episode, treatment, behavioral therapy, and medication adjustment, and then an A10 detention under Mental Health Act for admission for assessment on 2015, March 15th. Approved mental health professional, Joseph Block, apparently a reason for detainment. Patient admitted to Clockview Hospital under Section 136 of police detainment. Observations: indicators for visual and auditory hallucinations, distress, paranoia, confusion, transient global amnesia, dissociative amnesia. And then the initial diagnosis was acute psychosis, schizophrenia, anxiety, and PTSD. And then we get a sort of transcript of a counseling session with Joseph and Kayla. And it starts with her in the middle of a sentence talking about sand into water, water into stone, stone into wood, wood into cotton, cotton into blood, blood into gold, Gold into fire, fire into steel. Plastic trees in rings of glass. No wind for wings, no birds. No birds, as she cuts back as Joseph is getting her attention. She apologizes, and Joseph basically saying we should rest, you think we should have a rest for a moment, and basically asks for her name again. She says she's Kayla Barber, and that she is in the Clockview Hospital, and that she is safe. Joseph continues saying that they would like Kayla to tell him about what happened at the Man Island developments. She says she doesn't know, if she could, because it doesn't make any sense. Joseph saying that it doesn't matter if it makes sense, he just needs to know what happened. And then this is when Kayla starts talking about something interesting, basically about land and how it transforms over time through civilization and development. I took some notes on it because it kind of flows around a little bit, which is a little weird. But basically, an untouched land that is silent but only for whispers and wind. The shifting of sand in the dance of iron beneath countless sunrises and sunsets. It is a place of calm, unshaped and unclaimed, until a single drop of water falls. A drop that heralds change, that carves rivers, that stirs the earth. From that tickle life begins, a slow and patient unfolding, from the simplest of forms to the complex, from spores to limbs, from instinct to thought. And with thought comes presence, a name, a home. They mark the land with stone, raising monuments in worship, crafting identity from dust and devotion. Generations that come and go, each shaping the land, each calling it their own. Until blood is spilled, the land is no longer just a home, it becomes something more. It gains a name. Liverpool. And with that name, it is no longer simply a place to dwell, but a foundation for trade, for movement or industry. From that industry, stolen lives and stolen labor, cities swell and veins pulsing with the wealth of the world, shackled bodies chained to its progress. And that river, once a source of the life, becomes a wound. The land, once a home, was turned into a machine of steel and sulfur, which ignited bloodshed. And when it protests with wind, with water, with rage, they build higher, dig deeper, forge stronger. They believe they can tame it, but that land remembers. And it watches as glass and steel rise in arrogance. It shakes, it breaks. It undoes the structures built on suffering, redirects the hands that have taken without care, wires snap, foundations crumble, and the grand towers of ambition falls to ruin. The city built on bones and blood is reclaiming itself. And in the end, we hear the voice of the one telling the story. It's not just that person, but of the place itself. It is asked what happened to her. She does not separate herself from the land. She is the land. And just as the city was colonized, so too will it now take what remains, consuming all who dwell with it. So this is a very interesting case. I really, again, it's talking, I wrote that, little thing because it just kind of summarizes the whole thing in a little, blurb, basically. It's just about the land being angry. I'm curious to see how this interconnects with the greater narrative of Protocol, or see how this fits into everything about alchemy, which I guess it does, in a sense that, again, alchemy and the law of equivalent exchange, so to speak, is very give and take. You build on this land and this city, that is brought from slavery and hard labor and abuse, and the land remembers all of that. And it remembers everything you take from it, and it will take it back. Again, I'm just very interested to see if we ever come back to this in some sort of way later in this season or in the third season of Protocol. But from there, we cut back into the OAR office when Celia arrives, asking Alice if it's a difficult case, to which Alice just responds, hardly, building, angry. And then she submits the case. And then Alice starts to talk about how they even go about handling how a computer shreds a human being, referring to Colin. And Celia responds with, we should probably worry about the why rather than the how. with Alice still being at a loss of what happened to Sam. Even suggesting they might even go back to the Magnus Institute or Hilltop, the Hilltop Center, with Celia saying that it's probably a bad idea and that we don't even know what it is or whether it's dangerous. Oh yeah, here's the thing. So Alice says, okay, but I'm still at a loss about what happened to Sam. Maybe if we went back to Celia cuts in, bad idea. We still don't even know what it is or whether it's a danger. And for both those things, when she's talking about what it is or if it's a danger, we hear Freddy's little lie detector beeps go off once again, because Celia, that rat bastard, did this to our poor boy, and I will never forgive her. This is when Gwen knocks on the manager's office, signaling one of them to just come to her. Celia going to see what's going on. We cut to the landline in Gwen's office, as Gwen is very distressed and Celia wondering what's happening. Gwen just says to come over to her computer. Basically, she's saying, come look at the PC for a moment, and Celia's like, after everything that's going on, I don't think it's good to mess around with all that. And then she stops. And apparently, there is a hand on her desktop, on the keyboard, I assume, with Gwen saying that it's probably Colin's, as, and I quote, they both react as the hand is slorped back into the computer.
I think it's probably Colin's. Don't touch it! Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, so that. It is that I would say that is pretty accurate as a good slurping noise. So yeah, Colin's hand is somehow reformed and slurped back into the computer, with Gwen saying that this has happened a couple of times, and she just wanted to make sure she wasn't losing it. With Celia also saying that she found some teeth on her keyboard the other day, and looked back, and it was gone, so she didn't question it. Celia then asking if there was anything else that she really needed, Gwen saying, no, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy, basically. This is when Celia just tells Gwen that, hey, taking over the big chair is kind of like hard if you need any like help or someone to talk to. You could basically, do that with me if you wanted. Celia says, but if you ever need a hand, and then pauses, just let me know, yeah? This is when there's like a small ping, an email on Gwen's computer, to which Gwen's saying, no, I don't think that's necessary, Celia. And as you can see, I'm quite busy at the moment. And we hear Freddy's lie detector go off to that. And as Celia basically is just saying, Gwen, look after yourself. And after Celia leaves, Gwen, or as the transcript says, after a moment, Gwen tries to access her email poorly. Gwen saying, for God's sake, how do you even write? She mutters to herself and she says, what? As that cuts out and we hear Alice's phone turn on. And the phone rings and then it goes to voicemail. And we hear Alice's brother, Luke, voice in the voicemail. Basically saying, leave a message or, I don't care. With Alice basically just wanting someone normal to talk to, which is kind of sad. Because there's Celia and there's Gwen, there's not much else. And then maybe Teddy, if they ever get in contact again. I don't remember if no, nothing really happened to Teddy. But no, Alice just wanting to talk to a normal person, perhaps her brother. Just leaves him a voice call, and then she hangs up, and that is this episode. A rather short one, I might say. Not much really to add, just, again, I'm really interested in if the case in this episode goes anywhere else, or if it's just kind of reinstating this idea of, again, like I like to keep calling the equivalent exchange with everything that we've been learning about alchemy throughout Protocol. I'm wondering what I'm wondering if there's any other ill intent by Celia, talking to Gwen about being higher management and having help. I wonder if she's got some other ulterior motive to that, because who knows? She really does not want to go back to the Archives universe, and I'm really hoping we get more, speaking of Archives universe, more of that next episode. Because that is, of course, as all of us are, that is the main thing that we're interested in at this point. Or at least one of the main things I am. And that was Mag Protocol episode 32, Restructuring. If any of you have any comments or theories of your own, please leave those down below. And if you like to listen to this on YouTube, I'll have that link in the description to the Restructuring YouTube channel. Or go listen wherever you like to listen to podcasts of your own. And while you're down there, please leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video, and I will see you all next time on episode 33, whatever that title's called.